College. In this animation, I want to explain oxidative phosphorylation and electron transport chain. I hope this animation will give you deeper and complete information about the mechanism of oxidative phosphorylation and electron transport chain. Students, here what is oxidative phosphorylation? Is nothing but the process of synthesizing ATP from adenosine diphosphate and inorganic phosphate coupled with the electron transport chain is known as oxidative phosphorylation. During this oxidative mechanism, electrons are transported to oxygen and which are involved in water molecule formation. And particular for this transportation, electrons are coming from NADH plus or FADH2 and enter into electron transport chain, finally reaches to oxygen and which involve in water molecule formation. And during this reaction, phosphorylation carried out, nothing but ATP synthesis takes place. Students, here ATP is not only from oxidative phosphorylation and also is carried out by substrate level phosphorylation. Is nothing but the catabolism or breakdown of glucose by glycolysis, and the citric acid cycle generates some of the ATP energy needed by an organism. This form of ATP synthesis called substrate level phosphorylation. Here, during this reaction, ATP, whatever ATP is going to synthesize without entering into the electron transport chain and without using oxygen is directly going to synthesize, that is at substrate level only. That's why this process is known as substrate level phosphorylation. If you observe here, whatever the glucose is enter into the vessel when it is participating in glycolysis, which is converted into two molecules of pyruvate. As a result, two ATPs are going to synthesize. Here, whatever two ATPs are synthesized, for this synthesis, no need of electron transport chain is required. No need of oxygen is required. Direct ATP. That's why that is at a substrate level phosphorylation. And after glycolysis, whatever pyruvate is produced is converted into acetyl CoA through oxidative mechanism. And after acetyl CoA is enter into TCA cycle. Through TCA cycle also, one molecule of ATP without enter into the electron transport chain without using oxygen. Here through glycolysis from one molecule of glucose, two pyruvates are produced. Now two pyruvates are enter into oxidative decarboxylation. Through oxidative decarboxylation, two pyruvates are converted into acetyl CoA. Now whatever two acetyl CoAs participated in citric acid cycle. Through citric acid cycle, from two molecules of acetyl CoAs, two ATPs are produced. As a result, from one molecule of glucose, by complete oxidative process through substrate level phosphorylation, 4 ATPs are going to synthesize. During aerobic processes in animals, and much higher amounts of ATP can be synthesized by harnessing the reducing power of NADH and FADH2, also formed during glycolysis and the citric acid cycle. These molecules are the source of high energy electrons for oxidative phosphorylation, and particularly within aerobic condition in the animals, most of the ATP is generated through oxidative phosphorylation only. Compared to substrate level phosphorylation, much amount of ATP is synthesized through oxidative phosphorylation. If you observe in this animation, during the glycolysis, two pyruvates are produced and ATP is going to synthesize, and also NADH plus 2 NADH plus are synthesized. After glycolysis, when pyruvates are get converted to acetyl CoA, during this reaction also 2 NADH plus are synthesized. And after oxidative decarboxylation, when acetyl CoA enter into the TCA cycle, during that reaction also NADH plus and FADH2 also produced. As a result, from one molecule of glucose along with 4 ATP through substrate level phosphorylation and 2 FADH2, 10 NADH plus are produced. Now whatever 2 FADH2 and 10 NADH plus molecules are produced, which able to enter into electron transport chain and participated in transportation of electrons. As a result, oxidative phosphorylation carried out will synthesis in ATP formation. If you observe in this animation, whatever high energy electrons through NADH plus and FADH2 are able to enter electron transport chain. Within the electron transport chain, the electrons are transported from one complex to another complex, finally reaches to oxygen and a formation involving formation of ATP. During this reaction, which coupled with the ATP formation, ATP phosphorylation is carried out, that is through oxidative phosphorylation mechanism. If you observe here, whatever NADH plus and FADH2 enter into ETC and involve in transport of electrons. The electron transport chain possesses electrons through a series of protein complexes moving towards increasing electron potential. Electrons flow downhill spontaneously, moving from molecules that easily transfer their electrons to molecules that more readily accept these electrons. For example, NADH plus is entered into the electron transport chain. Now it is going to donate electrons to complex 1, from complex 1 to complex 3 and complex 3 to complex 4. If FAD is to enter into electron transport chain, it is going to donate electrons to complex 2 and from complex 2 to complex 3 and complex 3 to complex 4. Simply electrons from NADH plus. They involve in transport complex 1, 3, 4. And the electrons from FADH2, they involve in transportation from complex 2, 3 and 4. Particularly in electron transport chain, total 5 complex systems are present. 5 complex enzymes are required, are known as complex 1, complex 2, complex 3 and complex 4 and complex 5. Among these 5 complex enzyme systems, only complex 1, 2, 3, 4 are participated in transportation of electrons, and complex 5 never participated in electron transportation since it is synthesized in ATP formation. And students, where this all the complex systems are present? Within mitochondria, all the complex 1, complex 2, complex 3, complex 4 and complex 5, all the complex systems are present in mitochondria. Here complex 1 is nothing but NADH coenzyme Q reductase. Complex 2 nothing but succinate coenzyme Q reductase. Complex 3 nothing but coenzyme Q cytochrome C reductase. Complex 4 nothing but cytochrome oxidase. And complex 5 is ATP synthase. These are all the complex enzymes are located within mitochondria, that within the inner surface of inner mitochondrial membrane. If you observe in this animation, whatever the electrons are transported from NADH H plus and FADH2, which are entered into the electron transport chain, that is through complex 1 and complex 2, finally reaches to oxygen, which involve in water molecule formation. And here, if you observe in this animation, electron transport chain. For this electron transport chain, 4 major protein complexes make up the electron transport chain. Each complex consists of several proteins that associated closely with one another. Within the inner surface and inner mitochondrial membrane, all the complex 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Here 5 complex 5 nothing but ATP synthase, which will look like a lollipop like structures. But complex 5 never participated in transportation of electrons. Only complex 1, 2, 3, 4 are participated in transportation. And also all the proteins with the chain cycle back and forth between reduced and oxidized states as electrons are passed to and from them. Means here, whatever the electron transported from one complex to another complex, for this transportation, particular coupled process is nothing but oxidation and reduction coupled process is needed for this transportation. Here complex 1. or NADH coenzyme Q reductase. Each NADH molecule transfers its two high energy electrons to flavin mononucleotide FMN and then to an iron sulfur protein and finally to coenzyme. Whatever NADH H plus, it donates the electrons which are transported towards the FMN from FMN to iron sulfur protein, that is through oxidation and reduction coupled process. If you observed in this animation, your electrons from NAD plus H plus towards FMN and from FMN to iron sulfur protein and from iron sulfur protein to finally they reach to coenzyme Q. And complex 2 succinate coenzyme Q reductase FADH2 generated by succinate dehydrogenase in the citric acid cycle and transfer its electrons to coenzyme Q, that is via complex 2. FADH2 generated by acyl CoA dehydrogenase in the beta oxidation of fatty acids and transfers its electrons to coenzyme Q via a related complex. Even during TCA cycle from succinate in the presence of succinate dehydrogenase, FADH2 is produced, and also in lipid metabolism, that is during beta oxidation also FADH2 are produced. Now this whatever FADH2 are produced are enter into electron transport chain and they are going to donate electrons to complex 2, that is for succinate coenzyme Q reductase. See here the electrons from FADH2 or enter into complex 2 and from complex 2 to coenzyme Q. Next, complex 3, cytochrome C reductase. Coenzyme Q transfers its electrons to a series of cytochromes and in iron sulfur protein. Cytochromes contains a heme group similar to hemoglobin and the iron within the heme accepts electrons. Here coenzyme Q to cytochrome B and from cytochrome B to cytochrome C and C to iron sulfur protein and next iron sulfur protein to cytochrome C. Next complex 4, cytochrome oxidase. The final protein acceptor in the electron transport chain is a large complex containing two hemes and the two copper atoms. Here from cytochrome C to complex 4 nothing but cytochrome A and A3 finally reaches to oxygen which combine to form water molecule with the protons. Here one is a pop-up question based upon your knowledge the electron transport chain, which complex or molecule is the strongest electron donor? Which complex or molecule is the strongest electron donor? Here electron strongest is NADH. Yes. And based upon your knowledge of the electron transport chain, which complex or molecule is the strongest electron acceptor? Obviously oxygen. Yes. Next, ATP synthesis. Through oxidative phosphorylation, ATP going to synthesized, that is by electron transport chain